Hey guys, welcome back to Furniture Flipping Teacher. It's Lauren here and we're back for another furniture flip. Melange is at it again with another beautiful palette of fall colors, and I couldn't wait to showcase Kismet for you guys. Today I am going to be using this beautiful purple Kismet color that actually Melange had several months back as just a one-time color, but everybody loved it so much that they decided to bring it back. I'm going to be using it on these two dressers, and I actually got these dressers at a church garage sale back in the summertime. They were only $15 a piece. They're beautiful, mid-century style. So let's go ahead and get started with removing the hardware. As you guys know, I tend to love to reuse the original hardware, especially when it is so unique. And as you can tell, these are very, very unique. So I'm probably just going to be spray painting them gold again because they are a little bit varnished off, but we can fix that with just some of my favorite gold spray paint, and I'll show you that in a little while. In the meantime, I'm going to keep all of my hardware in one spot so that I don't lose it and that I know right where it is. I had to switch over to using a flathead screwdriver just because I have a little bit more control and they're pretty tight, so I've got to use a little bit of muscle there. All right, all the hardware is removed, so I am going to go ahead and clean. As you guys know, it is crucial to clean any piece of furniture before you sand it or paint it or apply anything to the piece of furniture, because you are going to be degreasing and taking off all of the dirt and dust of the piece so that it doesn't get trapped under that paint, and so that also it will adhere to the piece of furniture. So I'm going to be using Super Clean. It's a degreaser. You can use other things like Dixie Bell's White Lightning. You can use Dawn dish soap, crud cutter, anything that is going to cut the grease. What I like to do is spray it all on all over the piece, and then I'll come back with a cloth and I'll wipe it down, and then I'll come back with a clean rag and I will rinse everything off. I'm just going to be doing one piece at a time so that nothing gets dried on there. Now that I'm all finished up with cleaning and rinsing both pieces, we're gonna move on to some sanding. It's sanding time, so I've got my Surfprep sander here, and then I'm going to actually start with the top drawers because I'm really anxious to see what the wood looks like underneath this finish. All of the drawers are in great condition, so if I like the wood under there, I might even keep it all instead of painting all of it, but this is kind of that step where it's trial and error and just testing out different looks, because I know I'm going to use the purple, and I know, well, I think I know that I want to incorporate some wood, and I'm using 120 grit sandpaper to get underneath that finish. Let's go ahead and try it out. To me, that wood grain is really pretty, and I think honestly it's not too light. I was worried that it was gonna be too light and that I might have to stain it, but I think if I stain it, it'll be too dark. I like that shade, and I think that it's really gonna pair well with the purple as well. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and sand down all the drawer fronts, and then we'll scuff sand the outer edges and paint the outer edges. Then we'll put the drawers in and see if we like it. If not, then I might end up painting. All right, I got everything sanded. The drawers look great. And I did do a scuff sand on the top and the sides. The top is actually a laminate material, so it was very glossy. I needed to roughen that up a little bit. So I did that with a 220 grit along with the sides and the bottoms. While I was cleaning and sanding, I did notice a little bit of an area that needs to be addressed. It's a little bit damaged and the veneer is popping up. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do over there to get that fixed up. So right here on the side is where I'm talking about where the damage is. This veneer, it looks to be a little bit water damaged. And so there's a couple of options we could do. We could glue it down and clamp it and things like that, but to me it just doesn't look like it's gonna be the best fix. So what I'm gonna actually do is take a paint scraper and we're just gonna scrape off the veneer. I may need to grab my heat gun, but I'm just gonna try without at first and see what we're working with here. I'm gonna end up taking this whole entire strip off. So we're actually going to be taking off both layers here because these are the 2 layers that are damaged. This is where I may need the heat gun because it's not really peeling up, but I do want to take it all the way off because if I just leave this much, then I'm going to have to wood fill or Bondo all of this, and that just seems like a lot of wood filling. So I am going to refrain from that. So instead, I'll just take this off. Looks like the heat gun is necessary, so I'm gonna go grab that now. I got my heat gun all set up, and I got this attachment on there because it's just a more focused area. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on, and we're gonna heat this up because what we're actually gonna do is heat the glue underneath the veneer, heat that up, and then it'll be much easier to pry off. All of that is now removed. So I'm gonna let this cool off over here. And what I'm gonna do is, since it's a bit rough up here, I'm gonna grab my sander back out and smooth that out. And then I'm gonna check the other side because I think it wasn't quite as bad, but it might need to be removed as well. As you can see over here, this is also peeling up. Definitely not as bad, but I'm gonna go ahead and peel the rest off just so that the sides will match. So while I was doing that removal of the veneer down here on the bottoms, I noticed that this one is just a little bit loose here. It looks like we got a little crack. No big deal. All I'm gonna do is put some wood glue there and then go ahead and clamp it so that way it'll dry as good as new. I'm just gonna get as much in there as we can. And then I've got a whole slew of clamps here. So I'm just gonna grab some and make sure that this is clamped down really well. So while this is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and start painting the other dresser. Prep work is so important, and this set had a bit of prep work, but nothing too crazy. But prep work is necessary before you get to the most fun part. Well, at least it's the most fun part for me, painting. So I am going to be using the Melange Kismet, as I said, and this color is definitely a color that I've never used before, but I'm excited to see how it is going to look on these pieces. I'm going to be using a brush from Melange's website as well. They so graciously named it after me. It's called the Lauren brush over on their website. And if you're interested in any of the things that I am using in today's video, I will link them down below. And if you get any of the materials off of Melange's website, you can use my code FLIP10 for 10% off of your entire purchase. Let's go ahead and get started painting. I'm gonna start on the top, and usually I don't use a mister bottle for the Melange paint, but I have been in contact with Morgan, and she is the owner of Melange, and she recommended that we use just a tad bit of water if and only if you're getting a little bit of drag in your paint. So I will sort of explain that if it happens here, but I've always got this Mister bottle in my left hand just in case. All right, first coat on that is also done. So those are gonna dry for just a little while now, and then I'll come back for coat number 2. All right, we're back for day 2. I'm gonna get started on this hardware so that it can dry while I'm doing coat number 2 on the dressers over there. These pieces of hardware are just so unique that I wanted to save them, but they are just rubbing away a little bit. Sometimes you can clean them and they will turn back into brass, but these are definitely not solid brass, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and spray paint them. And I'm gonna be using my favorite gold spray paint, and it is the Krylon Metallic Gold Leaf. So I'll link this down below as well, and you can find it on Amazon. I get mine at Lowe's, so if you're looking locally, that's what you can go and get at Lowe's. So I'm just gonna set these up. When you're spray painting, you don't want to do it too much in one spot. You just kind of want to lightly go across. It's better to do more coats thinner than less coats that are thicker. So that's what I always try to remember when I'm doing spray paint. You don't want any drips or clumping or pooling of the paint. Okay, so the first coat we got finished up with, and there's still gonna be a couple of spots where I definitely need to touch up, so we'll do that once this coat dries. But for now, let's head over back to the dressers and do coat number 2 of Kismet. So Melange paint is a self-leveling paint, so it dries so smooth, but just to get an even more smoother finish, I like to go ahead and use a very fine piece of sandpaper or a Surfprep rad pad that you can also get on Melange's website. And this is just going to be smoothing out any of the imperfections or any of the little fibers that get caught in the paint, and this is gonna help me get a very smooth look in the end. I try to do this between each coat of paint. All right, we are all smoothed out. I got all of the dust wiped back with my microfiber cloth. You'll notice that I didn't sand away the paint, I just simply smoothed it out. And what you'll get is a bunch of paint dust. And so you'll definitely have a colorful dust instead of like a sanding dust. But this is the look that we want when we are moving on to our second coat. Okay, 2 coats are all finished up, so we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna head back over to the hardware. It is time for the drawers. I had to come back to them because we can't just leave them like raw wood. We have to make sure that we protect them just like we were protecting paint. And also, these drawers look a little bit dried out because the wood has been sitting for years and years and years. And Melange has a new product that is called Board and Boot, and it is a quenching balm, but it is also a protectant for wood as well as paint. So I'm gonna be sealing the wood with this Board and Boot as well as the paint on the outsides of the dressers. They have a couple of different scents. I almost said flavors, definitely not a flavor, but it does smell really, really good. This one that I have is Mercantile, and you'll just have to smell it for yourself. It smells really good. This is made from hemp oil, beeswax, and it's really going to hydrate my wood and give it that protective layer as well. So I'm going to be applying this with a lint-free cloth. You could also apply it with a natural bristle brush. That is a tongue twister. Okay, so I'm going to be using just the edge of a lint-free cloth. I'm just gonna get some on there, and a little bit goes a long way with this type of thing. So I'm just going to rub it across my wood, and it's really going to bring it back to life. You really wanna get it into the pores of the wood, and it is going to change the color of the wood just a little bit. It's gonna darken it up because, again, we're basically giving it a drink. We're quenching the thirst. And it just makes that wood pop. It pops that grain out. Oh, it looks really good. Those drawers should definitely have their thirst quenched now. They look amazing, and I really like the way that it brought them back to life. I'm gonna be using this same stuff over on the paint. Really quick before I do the top coat on the paint, I'm gonna do the top coat on this hardware. Just like painting a piece of furniture, top coating the hardware is very important. I'm gonna be using the clear coat, and it is a matte finish. So we're just gonna spray it much like we did the paint. To the dressers we go. Continue using the board and boo as I put the drawers in, because I want to just lather up the bottom of the drawer here, the drawer slide. I already did the inside ones as I was doing the paint, but I just want to go ahead and do this. That way those drawers will slide nice and easy. It's really coming together. I'm really liking the way that it is looking. Last step is to put on the hardware. Who's ready for the final reveal? Here we have it. Let me know what you guys think of this color. This is the very first time that I've ever used a color that is so moody and dark, but yet also is kind of a more fun color and definitely unique. I am really glad that I ended up leaving the wood drawers. I think that the design of that really just brings it all together, and who doesn't love leaving the wood? I love painting furniture, but I tell you guys a lot, I like also incorporating a little bit of wood, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. Both pieces right now I've got listed as a pair on Facebook Marketplace for $325. I'm kind of experiencing a little bit of a slower season right now, and I think that that's kind of the case I've been hearing amongst our community and other fellow furniture flippers. So as I always say, be patient and test out your market. List things a little bit lower, list things a little bit higher. You never know. You've got to just wait for that one perfect person. I've actually had one inquiry, but I think they're just going to be a bit too small for her. If you've ever used a moody color like this, let me know how you enjoy those colors. Do you like doing the moodier, darker ones, or do you like it more lighter and brighter? I love to know what you guys are working on, so definitely let me know down below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back here for another furniture flip next week. This one is one that I've been working on for about the past week or so, and then I ran out of paint. So you guys will definitely need to get down and get subscribed so that you can join us next Thursday. And we've got a lot of fun things coming for you before the end of 2021, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the flip side.